You're watching Straight Black Love Talk with your host, DC Radical One, the home of intelligent, mature relationship conversations.
Greetings, straight black pride brothers and sisters. I'm your host, DC Radical One, and trying to see if Sister Najee is here. Sister Najee, if you're here, can you wave and or leave a message? Um, I'm your host, DC Radical One, and welcome to SBL Talk. For those that don't know what the SBL stands for, that's Straight Black Love, which is what we advocate here. BB48, BB Toomey, the brother Safo. Greetings to Sister Neff and BB48 to Sister Najee. So she is here. Sister Najee, let me know if you want me to add you to the stage now. And tonight's discussion is something that I've been thinking about for a while, but not as a show topic, but just as a reality or even a strategy, if you will. And so, well, first of all, let me know if y'all can hear me, by the way. My bad. Um, give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. So I know that the audio is good before I start adding music and the like. But tonight's topic is a time to internationalize the search for straight black love. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. And my thought process is simply why not? Because one of the things that's interesting, I just realized, okay, I gotta add myself back on here, right? Okay. Let's see. He said, well, she said I got this, and possibly. Well, no, I mean she is she is in LinkedIn. She just hadn't said it whether or not she was ready to be added to the stage. But as I was saying, it's something I've thought about for years now. And depending on where you live, is something that it's really not a big issue, but it's not something we've used as a strategy. And one thing I realized is that okay, let me add Sister Najee to the stage, which I don't like this part. I like it like that. All right. So, or, well, that ain't it. No, hold up. My bad. I done messed up. And totally messed up. Voila. And that's what I get for switching in between um platforms or whatever. But as I was saying, black people don't do anything strategically. So the idea that we're not implementing this as a stratagem should not be a surprise to me. But I just figured, hey, let's discuss it. So as I try to load up this music here, and as y'all know, I don't always hear the music out of my end. So y'all have to let me know whether or not you hear that music, because I don't hear it. Okay, I hear that music. All right. I'm not gonna lie, this jam is just smooth to me. But yeah, so here's what's interesting, right? If you, depending on where you live, that's what I was saying. Depending on where you live, you can easily, like, different places have more ethnicities of black people. So, for example, like I remember I went, I got some friends, some sisters well, I had some friends, some sisters back in the day from New York, and going up to visit them, and you go to different places and things like that. And I remember telling a sister one time, I said the difference between uh New York and home DC, excuse me, is that y'all got way more ethnicities of black people here. Now this been some years ago. Like we don't. So I was telling them, I was like, we don't have like a large community of like Haitians, Jamaicans, Dominicans, uh, Cubans, and you know what I'm saying. Like everybody from a Caribbean island, people from Black British, Nigerians, so forth, so right, in large numbers. Like they have people in large numbers because of course it's a much bigger city. So I was telling them it's different, but the interesting thing is let's say you live on the East Coast, you live in Philly or DC or whatever, and you deal with a sister from New York. Just to speak from a man's perspective, just because that sister live in New York does not mean that her family is from New York. Like, her mother or her grandmother, grandfather, whatever, may have come from oftentimes like Jamaica. The same way that a lot of New Yorkers have connections in North and South Carolina, right? Because I have family in New York, been in New York for a long time. But just like that, you got people that are lifelong New Yorkers, second generation New Yorkers, maybe third generation. But the generation before that is from Trinidad, or from Jamaica, or from Cuba, or what I'm saying? More recent times from Nigeria or from Haiti or places like that. And so if you deal with the sister, it's not a big deal, right? But I don't think we look at it that way. I don't think we're taught to look at it that way. So the brother said, I thought that's what started the passport bros to black men that were going to Jamaica because these women were more submissive. Well, I thought they got that from the Europeans who always had a affinity for Asian women. Now, I don't know because I'm gonna be honest. I've known Jamaican women for generations. That was not their being submissive. Wasn't their reputation. That's what I'm looking for. Back in the day, like nobody. I think about Patra. I don't think about being submissive. Excuse me. For those who remember Patra, pardon me with that. Got choked up for a moment just thinking about this. Those that remember Patra, the dancehall artist from back in the day. Man, to be a young man and bear witness to that type of black woman back in the day was goodness gracious. Anyway, I'm back. Just had a flashback, not a flashback, a flash black out here. Man, Patrick was something special. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so that's tonight's discussion because you always hear people talking about the dating pool and this and that, and they can't find this and they can't find that. Before brother Tony and so forth and so on. So I'm like, okay, well, how about let's look outside your normal spaces because right now, especially in the conscious community, something I saw in the last 10 years, and people were dating and some people got married, and we talking about people that's like somebody in New York marrying or finding somebody in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Somebody in like somebody in LA, dating somebody in Georgia, right? Somebody in Virginia, dating somebody in Dallas, and you know what I'm saying? Just people literally having to crisscross the country because where they're at, there weren't that many quote unquote conscious RBG, whatever ideology people were dealing with, African centered people. So I've seen that. I've seen it happen. I've seen it work. I've seen it not work. But at the same time, there's no more other than being more expensive. You know what I'm saying? Because of airline tickets and bus train passes and stuff. It's no more it's no different than dating somebody from across town, if you will. And so this is just an expansion on that idea. So Sister Najee, are you able to appear? I know you are on the move.
I am here. Mambo, everybody.
All right. Jumbo, sister, how are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. How you doing?
Putting one foot in front of the other.
Yep.
I did have some tasty food today, so thankful for that. Not gonna tell y'all what I had, but it was on time for what it was. Are you let me see, Brother Safo says, what is it with the places that have new in their name being melting pots? New York, New England, New Orleans, and New Mexico. I don't know, brother, because I've never been to New Mexico or New Albany and New Bedford. So I don't know what that's about. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been enough of those places to have noticed. But yeah, let's get to the pledge. I forgot. I don't know why I don't just start with the pledge. I always bypass the pledge. Let's get to the pledge. Sister, are you able to read the pledge, or are you busy right now?
I can read the pledge.
Thank you.
The Straight Black Oath. I pledge allegiance to my straight, black, and proud ancestors and the culture and traditions which they founded. I vow to practice those traditions of straight black love, family building, and nation building to the best of my ability, using all of my life's energy, intelligence, and creativity. I also vow to do everything in my power to protect Black men, Black women, and especially Black children from sexual abuse, homosexuality, exploitation, and miseducation, as long as I am mentally, physically, and spiritually able. Lastly, I vow to fight against any force, physical foe, ideology, or philosophy that threatens the straight, black, and proud culture, regardless of origin. This I pledge in the name of my African ancestors and the divine creator. Ashe.
Hey, it's kind of weird. I just saw the numbers dip down as soon as we said the straight black oath. I hope when you got no people that's confused about their straightness in their head, and they had to dip out real quick while the oath is being said. But what I'm gonna do before we get started, what I'm gonna do, because I older brother, I'm gonna play our advertisement from our good brother Elijah, and then we will get started with the discussion.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Elijah Lewis. I'm coming from you at the Springfield Town Center in Springfield, Virginia for the Fall Expo. But I want to take a minute to tell you about my book, Your Jewels Are in Your Journey, Life Lessons to Reach Your Optimal Self. This book is about giving us the tools we need to be our optimal self as we go about our journey. I tell everybody is that we're all on a journey. So on that journey, we learn that life lessons are jewels. The people that we connect with to be better and inspire us along the way are jewels. And above all, you find out that you yourself are a jewel. Because if you don't know who you are, it's hard to know where you're going. So if you're interested in learning more about me and my book or my motivational speaking, I speak on topics such as freedom from life's addictions, the reality of your vision, and many other topics. So if you want more information, go to my website, www.elijahlewis.org. You can get your copies, book me for motivational speaking, and above all, see where the journey takes you. And at the end of the day, may you find many jewels on your journey and continue to be the jewel that you are. Thank you.
All right. That's our brother. Don't forget to support him, his book, and his journey. Sister Najee, you met Brother Elijah, right?
I did.
All right. What impressions did you get about the brother? I know this is unexpected, but
I didn't actually have the opportunity to look into the book because I was on the other side of the table. We met during this year's Straight Black Pride Luncheon, where you received a wonderful acknowledgement and gift to go along with it. So I didn't get the opportunity to really speak with the brother or, flip through the book as I would need to in order to really respond to that question.
oh, okay, no problem, sister. Thank you for mentioning that I did receive that award, and of course, I thank the members of SBPM for awarding me. That's my second award, and I was more surprised the second time than I was the first time, which is kind of hard considering you were there when I got the first one, right?
No.
Oh, you weren't there? Okay. No, I thought you were there, but no, it was funny. Sister Neff, if she's still in here, she was there. Literally, I'm sitting in the back, just surveying the area, and I'm listening, and they're talking, giving all these compliments about, yeah, this brother does this, and he's dedicated, and he does his work, and blah blah blah, and this and this and that, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's the type of brothers we need, man. I can't wait to see who they give it to. And so while I'm thinking that, apparently they said my name, and I'm still waiting for them to say who they giving it to, right? Because I didn't hear my name for whatever goofy reason. And then actually it was Sister Neff that were at least in the comments area. She was like, looked at me like, why are you standing there? They talking about you. And I was like, huh? So it was funny because I was caught completely off guard. And one of the sisters that's a long-term member, normally she can't hide stuff from me, but she got me that time. She definitely hid that from me. I had no idea. So yeah, so that was the first one, and this one I didn't even think nobody's giving out no award, so I wasn't even thinking about it. So yeah, that was it's funny but enriching, whatever the word is. So oh nah, and let me address Brother Safo. No, I was not eating any ice cream of any kind, and certainly not any integrated ice cream. Y'all got jokes out here. But let us get into the discussion. Because I don't have that many slides today, so I don't know how long we'll be. But y'all know I always talk about this because this is the goal. This to go out. This is really not the goal. It's the standard. It's the standard our ancestors set up. In traditional African and traditional African American culture, marriage, not hooking up, not boyfriend and girlfriend, not living together, not all the stuff we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? Notice I ain't say yo, I say we. All the stuff we're doing now. None of that was the foundation. It is marriage that was an expected part of adulthood, excuse me. In many African societies, you were not considered an adult if you were not married. The family was considered the foundational institution of the society. There was no debate about the equality of men and women, as each had their jobs to do for the health of the society. Sister Najee, you have anything to add to that?
I do not.
Well, since she does not have anything to say, let me say this. One of the biggest problems I see on the internet, and I'm just going to attribute it mostly to the internet, is simply this. We're at the point where women know and regurgitate ad nauseum what men's job is. And now we got to the point where men know and regurgitate what women's job is. But neither men nor women, largely based upon the condition of the community, are doing their job as men and women. You see what I'm saying? So this is the problem. People have spent so much time studying what the complementary gender's job is that they forgot to put in any work in being able to do their job, right? And that's where some of the confusion starts. And I was thinking about this morning, right? And it's tangentially related to this, tangentially related to this slide. Sister, you have something to add?
No, I did not.
Okay. Something that I see that is subconscious, but it comes out in the complaints that men and women have about each other. You know what's going on? A lot of younger people, especially, are jealous of the opposite gender because they think that the complementary gender, excuse me, they're jealous of the complementary gender because they think the complementary gender has it easier, which is ridiculous because Black people collectively are facing genocide. You see what I'm saying? So there's no easy way out of genocide. You know what I'm saying? It's like choosing how you want to die. Well, of course, most people, because we all leaving here. You know what I'm saying? We all came here through our mama, and we all leaving here one way or another and going back in the ground or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Some people might get shot into space later on or whatever. But y'all get the point. But like there's this mythology where Black men think that Black women, because Black women get some things from the government and some things were carved out for them. And like I talked about, they've been doing the whole count Black women as two minority thing for about good 40 years now. I think a lot of Black men are jealous of that and think that Black women get treated better than Black men by society or by the government or whatever, right? So and to prove my point, you can see some Black men celebrating, oh yeah, they in the food stamp. Now y'all gonna have to, and his was deep. How can you sit around and be talking about you're for reparations, but be mad that Black people, whether men or women, are receiving food stamps? Yeah. We don't even be seeing the contradictions. We just be emotional and saying stuff and just, oh my God, man. Like we are so goofy. I'm gonna just be honest. As Black men, until we start using the flamethrower and the wood chipper, we really ain't got nothing to say to nobody. That's just what it is. Like all this other stuff, if you're not using it, because it's way too many people. I mean, it's way too many, objects that need to fuel the wood chipper and the flamethrower. And we ain't putting it to no good use on the people that need to, the objects that need to be, tossed into the fire. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna just keep it 100, man. We need some substances to put in that water and the air to raise the testosterone in the Black community amongst the men. Now amongst the women, they already trying to compete and be men. You know what I'm saying? But for real, the man, I almost start cussing. You know what I'm saying? I almost start cussing. But let me say this, right? Let's keep it 100. And I've seen this. What I'm about to speak on, I've seen this. If Black men would support each other in economic endeavors, in political endeavors, in endeavors of business, right? That those who have supported those who may have a little bit lesser before they really you got ripped off, we wouldn't have as much to complain about. Like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Jay-Z is a perfect example, right? Now, Jay-Z is allegedly a billionaire, and his wife's allegedly a billionaire. So these are two. So let's say combined, they actually have $2 billion. His former business partner, who I thought was his boy, but maybe it's just his business partner because those are two different things, is having financial issues for whatever reason. Cool. Now, him and Jay-Z supposed to have been cool or whatever a lot of time, and he can't help him out. This is just an example. Or they said one time that one of Jay-Z's cousins or something was trying to start a business and he wouldn't finance it. Now, I don't know all the details, but I'm just using it as an example. I could use another example, but I'll just use the example and I'll remove the people out of it, right? Let's say that you've been, it's you and your homeboy, right? Y'all known each other for years, and you helped him out of a situation like you got him, you pointed him to a lawyer that got him off of a criminal offense, right? So you put him on to an attorney. The attorney was good. He got the charge. I'm talking about he got the charges dropped. Like, you basically saved this dude's life by putting him on. 5 years later, the dude wins the lottery for $50 million, right? You are in a situation where you get injured and you can't work. And you ask the man for $100K. Now, he got $50 million, but he wouldn't have no $1 million because he would be in jail, right? If it wasn't for you. And you ask him for $100K to last you not 1 year, to last you 2 years so you can recover. And he like, man, I don't know, man. I got to see because I got a lot of people pulling at me and this and this and that. You be looking at him like, are you serious right now? And I'm using this as an example, but I've seen these type of things play out amongst black men, but we don't talk about that part. We like to sit around and complain about our women. We like to sit around and complain about our enemies instead of doing something about our enemies. But we don't talk about the sucker stuff that we be doing amongst each other. We don't like to talk about that part. You know what I'm saying? We don't like to talk about how we be in a position to look out for each other and be like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm good. And I'm not talking about no person that is working a regular job. I'm talking about people that be paid. Like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I know you good. You're a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do nothing for people who not just for regular people. I'm talking about people who looked out for you. I ain't talking about people you just happen to grow up with. I'm talking about people who looked out for you. So I've seen this type of sucker stuff, but we don't talk about this part. See, I'm talking to the men right now. See, we don't talk about this part of the game. Because to me, for real, what it is, it's just cowardice. It's just another form of cowardice. You know what I'm saying? So from my era back in the day, like if your man got put on and he wanted to see you eat. Now it ain't about necessarily giving a handout, but hey, if you come into something, implement something that makes you money and then makes it able for you to pay your people to work. So they don't have to work for the enemy, or they don't have to do nothing that's gonna get them locked up. You see what I'm saying? But we like to sit around and complain and talk about the women. But we're not even doing things to benefit each other as men. Right? Now I know y'all gonna say, what this got to do with the discussion? Absolutely nothing. I'm on a tangent. Because I'm thinking about things that I've seen, and look, I'm just saying that as men, we're not doing what we need to do on no level enough to be complaining about what the women are not doing. We know that women ain't doing a lot of stuff. But we sitting around watching our people get gunned down, ran over, and all types of stuff, called all types of bad names, and we don't even want to use harsh language against the enemy. Y'all get, I mean, look, let me tell y'all something. And I had another epiphany this morning as far as relationship goes. Y'all gonna laugh at me, but this guy's on the truth. You know what I realized? Because hatred is my fuel right now. What I realized is I said, yo, I can't marry no woman that don't hate who I hate. Oh, that may sound crazy to y'all, but this guy's on truth. I said, I can't marry no woman that don't hate what I hate.
It makes perfect sense.
Since Najee, you have something to add? You want to add something to that?
That makes perfect sense. You can't marry or date or really even befriend people that feel uncomfortable with you being your righteous self.
Thank you, sister. But I was thinking about it, and I was just like, yo, when I go off on them tangents on these various folks, and if you ever been around me when like some of our enemies decide that they gonna act a fool or whatever, and sometimes acting a fool can be something small, like it could just be tone of voice, and I'm like, yo, I don't know who Mr. Fill in the blanks is talking to, but I know he keep talking, ain't gonna be no talking. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because that's, hey, sometimes you just have to let people know, be like, hey, I don't have to, I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes it's the people, man, people they be low key thinking they can disrespect black people nowadays, depending on where you at and depending on who it is. Like, hey, you might pick the right day. You know what I mean? Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I spent a lot for the last 30 odd years of my life. I spent a lot of mental and spiritual energy trying to avoid incarceration, and now it's not the time for it. But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Hatred is my fuel, and having a woman around constantly that don't hate what I hate, that's a non-starter. And I just really just thought about it recently. Anyway, can I get back to the slide? Because I know I went veered way off course already. Anyway, during enslavement, black men and black women were often escaping, trying to find their spouses, and children risking life and limb. Black people would buy their loved ones with money that they saved up working overtime to give money to buy their spouse's freedom. And I don't know what I was looking at, but I saw something recently, and I saw it before, and it said that black people put in advertisements. So if you go in, I guess you would have to go to like the Library of Congress and go to the microfiche if they still do it that way. I guess all the microfiche is online now, so maybe you could just go online to the Library of Congress. But back in the olden times when I used to do research, I used to go to the Library of Congress, which of course ain't as hard when you live in or near the city. And they had stuff archived from like 150 years ago on microfiche, old newspapers and old pictures and old books and stuff like that from, like I said, like literally like right at the end of slavery time. So I'm sure they still got that stuff in there somewhere. If anybody wants to research, I haven't done that type of research probably in 20 years, and maybe 25. Really, yeah, kind of since the internet age started. But yeah, you can find that type of information. Like we put up advertisements, flyers, even advertisements in newspapers, looking for lost loved ones back, especially at the end of slavery, where it was, where you wouldn't be putting a target on yourself, as opposed to during enslavement, even if you were freedmen, as they say. So, Sister Naja, you had anything you want to add to that?
Hapana.
All right. So, oh, and by the way, well, I know it was a men's discussion, but did you have anything that I wanted to say earlier, or did you want to address the sisters on anything about that?
I think that, you were saying that it's not relevant to the discussion, but I think that it is relevant because if the men aren't doing what they're supposed to do and, creating the type of environment that the community needs in order to survive and thrive, then of course we're going to have women traveling the world looking for their husband. It's not just the men that are traveling looking for love, women are doing it as well. Successfully so in some circumstances.
All right. Well, the sister has spoken, and we can't do anything other than concur with that assessment. Now, like I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to get to a point where I'm that I have to compete against some of these big muscle bound brothers from Nigeria or Ghana, some of these Mandingo brothers from you know what I'm saying, other parts of West Coast Africa, or with the Maasai who 8 feet tall. I ain't trying to compete with them brothers because just ain't trying to compete with them brothers. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Uh, women go to those places and see those folks and never come back. Like, think about it. European females are literally trying to buy those men, like re-enslavement time. And because the brothers don't have money, some of them fall victim, which is disgusting to think about because the European females that I've seen that's over there buying the young brothers on the continent. Oh my God. So you talking about looking like the crypt keeper out here. It's disgusting. But anyway, brother, you got ripped off says he said absence of adulting is real. Have a co-worker whose grown daughters can't pay 51 pay what bill?
Probably a $51 bill, most likely.
Oh, $51 bill. Okay. Because they want mom to pay dues at my school in 20s and can't come to class because they tired but paying $30K to be there. Hey man, I don't know. I'll just say this. And brother, you got Sister Najee say spoilage is what you described, brother. I just say this, man. These times, this current environment that we in is really gonna it's gonna force a change in behavior in general. We're in, and it's funny, I was talking to Brother Genie, he was like, man, I was talking about the same thing. Like, we realized we were having the same subject, some of the same subject matter on each of our programs, and I hadn't heard nothing that he did. But when I described it, when I gave a name to it, he was like, yeah, that's what I've been talking about. So we literally talking about the same subject matter in without communicating with each other. So I just found that interesting. But anyway, back to the slides. Sister, I don't think you ever read this slide. You want to read this slide?
Okay. Historical attacks on the Black family. The attack on the Black family began in the coffle lines where African men and women were separated. This continued in the slave dungeons like Elmina and continued on the slave ships where men, women, and children were separated. Our enemies know that our strength as a people comes from the family, and it is the family that allows us to pass down our culture and traditions. Ancestral memories passed down preserve our natural survival instincts. Without this, we are sitting ducks for our enemies.
And I'm gonna just say this: if you don't know, we are being warred upon. We're not at war. You know what I'm saying? We're being warred upon. I saw somebody on Threads, I think, and they were like, hey man, how is it possible that we still only like 13% of the population in America? And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't even put it in. No, I think I actually, oh, I know what it was. I was working on something and I wasn't supposed to be on Threads, but that popped up on my phone and I looked at it and it got my attention. And then I put it down and actually worked on what I was supposed to be working on. But I said, oh, this person don't know that they're being watered upon. Like, unless it's a rhetorical question. But it didn't seem like a rhetorical question. It seemed like an inquisitive question. I said, oh, this person doesn't know they're being watered upon. Like, it's not a coincidence. Like, because I started to just respond simply with abortion. You know what I'm saying? They literally just abortion. That was going to be my answer. But I was like, well, it's more nuanced than that. I'm gonna leave that alone because the sisters will think I'm attacking them, and forget all that. So that's why right now. But when you don't know, look, there are no coincidences. There's only people doing two or more things against us that happen to coincide. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say there are people on planet Earth who want to destroy black people. Period. In addition to that, here's what's bad. That would be bad enough. But in addition to that, there are people on planet Earth who want to reduce the population of all people on planet Earth. So that means black people are twice as likely to fall victim. And of course, as Barbara Cambone said, but they want to make money off of our death process. So it's not just they want us to die. Yeah, they want us to die. But there's a certain group of people who want to make money while they remove us from the planet, right? And that goes without saying. So apparently, for some reason, I guess me talking about the fact that people are trying to remove us from the planet has just caused our numbers to plummet, because I'm literally watching the numbers decrease by 75% while I go on. Now, look, I know y'all like, man, this ain't about love. I love you enough to tell you the truth. And that's the greatest love of all, in my humble opinion. Right? So, I just say this. If people want you to not exist, one of the best stratagems for avoiding being removed is to reproduce with your kind. Sister Naja, you got anything to add to that?
That's common law, common sense. There's not much else to say to it.
As the elders and some of the elders say, common sense ain't common nowadays. Right? So and let's be honest. Like, I'm not trying to be vulgar, but can we be honest here? We all like the process that brings forth life into the universe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to pretend here. We're all adults. I know it's not even 7 o'clock yet. No. Eventually we'll be able to do SBL After Dark, which will be a little more risque. But since that is the case, and we don't have no problem with that. By the way, YouTube, y'all can stop showing me them ED ads. I'm fine in that department. I'm good. Appreciate you. Like, please stop showing me them ads, man. I don't know what ads y'all get, but I turn on YouTube. If I see another ED ad, and I think what's crazy is, I think when I watch my videos, them things is coming up. So I guess they like, okay, well, he talking about SBL. Let's see if he needs some help. Nah, I don't need no help. You know what I'm saying? But y'all done show me enough ads that if I did, I got a vast array of products to choose from. So appreciate it. But I'll stick with the maca and the old school ginseng, the yahimbe, you know what I'm saying? I'll stick with those things. And good old fashioned watermelon, man. Fresh watermelon from any brothers that's out there. Yeah, the watermelon juice, that watermelon rind. Yeah, you intaking that'll get you right. I saw, it's funny. I saw my brother doing a live stream one time, and apparently he was having some issues, and he was like, "Man, thank y'all for telling me that, man. You right, that watermelon that worked, this and this and that." And I just started laughing. I'm like, "Yeah, now you know." You know what I'm saying? You mess around and get divorced out here because you don't have the proper diet. But anyway, I surely digress. That's right, Sister Naja, you read this one already. So now let's get into it. Is Black love in America working? I'm gonna read the first two. Well, no, Sister Naja, I'm gonna let you read the first two, and I'm gonna read the last two. How about that?
Okay. As we have previously discussed, the marriage rate in the Black community is the lowest amongst any demographic in America. The number of intact families with children living with both their parents, both birth parents, is also the lowest of any demographic in America.
My bad. You have anything you want to add to those first 2 points?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So we've talked about it multiple times. We put the data and statistics up. I didn't bother to put it up this time, but yeah, our marriage rates as men and women are low. The women approximately 27%, or approximately 1 in 4. The men at approximately 34%, or approximately 1 in 3. 1 in 4 is not even good in baseball. 1 in 3 is good in baseball, but 1 in 3 is pathetic in Africanity. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing to what they say is nothing to write home about. So you just gotta do better as a community. I don't know what else to say. We just gotta do better. And it's so funny. I was talking to my mother, and she was like, "Yeah, you basically got to be in a relationship and work together to be able to survive this economy." And I'm thinking to myself, "Ooh, boy." I was like, that is true. And I'm about as far away from that as I am from $1 million out here. And maybe there's correlation and causation between those two things. But that's just where we at. I mean, this economy is as good a reason to get booed up as the winter weather is. You know, but of course, y'all know I'm still a believer in proper mate selection. But I'm just saying, it's rough out here in these streets, especially if you in the northern hemisphere. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm tired of this weather already, bro. Like, can't hardly get no sun. The wind seemed like I don't remember the wind blowing this much, you know. But then again, for years, my schedule didn't allow me to even be outside a lot during the day. So hey, whatever. Let me get to this second half of the slide. It says Black women's reverence for marriage and family is at the lowest that I have personally witnessed. This is personal anecdotal evidence. I have no documentation or data to back this up. I'm saying from my perspective as a Black man, I have not seen Black women so uninterested, you know what I'm saying, in marriage as I have seen now. And in fact, a lot of women literally, and some of it is because they don't feel like their prospects of getting married are high, and they specifically don't feel like their prospects for getting married to the type of man that they truly desire is high. So they spend a lot of time bad mouthing and denigrating Black marriage. And so I just, when I hear some sisters talk, well, I don't hear them talk. When I see them on the internet, I'm just like, man, what is going on? Brother Tony said unrealistic expectation. Yeah, it's some of that, but some of it is just like openly. Not only do they, denigrate the institution of marriage, but they attack the women who are married and try to tell them what type of relationship they have, like they living in their house. It's the weirdest thing, but I have definitely seen it, and it's goofy to me. But that's the state of our people. And of course, lastly, there's been a concerted effort to divide black men from black women, especially on social media, where the same tropes are repeated ad nauseum. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let Sister Najee add to the conversation. But the people that seemingly talk about the same thing every day, all day on the internet, I know these are the most popular people, and they're making way more money at this than I am, and possibly more than I ever will. But I'll be honest, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how dudes come on the internet every day and talk about black women every day, and not in a positive manner. Like as much as I like black women, I can't come on here every day and talk about black women, even positively. These dudes come on the internet and talk bad about black women every day. There are sisters that come on the internet and talk bad about black men every day. Now, they might take off for the weekend, but some of them will load up a video, even on their day off, to talk bad about each other. And the whole thing is, how come you don't talk bad about our enemies every day? Yeah, see, anybody notice that part? Where's the YouTube channel where people talk bad about our enemy? I ain't talking about complain about our enemies. I'm talking about talk bad about them like Dr. Collar used to do. Where them people at? See, you ain't got no internet channel for that. No YouTube channel for that. No Instagram channels for that, right? You ain't no Rumble channel for that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just pointing out, brother. You got ripped off. Said they paid to. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know they paid. You said I was supposed to do a program on it. I forgot. I know they paid. I'm just. All right, I can't say that. This SBL talk. Anyway, Sister Najee, please help me out before I say something crazy. Please interject.
It's all very fair. I feel tired by the fact that we got to talk about how tiring it is for them to continue talking. It's just a perpetual state of exhaustion because it is the exact same conversations over and over again, and it's not. They're not trying to bring about solutions. They're trying to just kind of, they're trying to play in the philosophy of it all, what they think is the philosophy of it all. That's to say, well, maybe the more we talk about it, somebody will, it's exhausting. What you said about Black women's reverence for marriage, I think we have discussed that on previous episodes, where it truly is, be beyond low. We under the soil with it, because now it's a thing of women explaining to each other, and I've seen mostly white women going so extreme as to say that marriage is something that will actually reduce your lifespan. So as a woman, if you were to get married, you're not even going to live as long because of the stress and frustration that marriage brings to you. So it is pretty bad.
That is wild. I did not mean to cut you off. Go ahead, sister, if you had something else to add to that.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty bad out here. You were saying that they even even try and convince women that are in marriages not to be in the, like, even if they in a happy marriage, they still try and convince them that they're not happy. You're not. And it's that same as the feminism thing, as far as like, oh, you're being modest, so that means that you're a slave to your husband's, what he wants you to be, and you're not actually free because you don't have all your clothes off like the rest of us. And it kind of reminds me of homosexuals needing to not transform, but basically
Hmm.
transform other people. It's like the women are trying to get as many people as they can on their side as quickly as they can, because they
Hold on,
know.
sister. Hold on, sister. Hold on. Let me pause. You got to say that again. I mean, what you said is so profound because I've compared, and I guess we're gonna get the show deleted right now. And actually, I think Brother Gene, I think I got this from Brother Gene. I've compared rampant homophilia to vampirism, like where
Mm,
the vampire bites a person, the person becomes a vampire, and what's the next thing they do? They pass on the vampirism to the next person. They have to
right.
feed on them and put them in the same condition. So what you're saying is, in the same manner, the feminism is like the vampirism. That's
Hmm.
what you're saying?
Yep. Yep. Trying to
Okay.
convert as many as you can as quickly as you can, because ultimately, when the sun comes up, you know, that's the end of you. But hopefully, if you can get as many people as you can, y'all can, and how they work, as long as I can stay sheltered underneath all these other people, then maybe I can survive the daylight.
Hmm. I ain't gonna lie, that was deep. That was y'all give Sister Najee some clap emojis, and drop a few ducats in her cash app if you can. Sister Najee, we at the top of the hour. Give them your information because we're not on the other platform where I have your stuff up. My apologies, but let them
No,
know where they
no
can reach you
problem.
and
I
stuff.
think it is still up on my avatar video thing here. But a BB Fahodi, everyone. My name is Najee, Nefer Najee, on Instagram and Rumble and Twitch. My website is realkkk.com, where we discuss the scientific solution to sovereignty. And my Cash App is Nefer Najee, NEFERNAJAI.
All right. Thank you for that, sister. And of course, your co-host DC Radical One. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.radical1, on Twitter at DC Radical underscore ONE, on OTW2, which is a black owned platform, at DC Radical One. And if you would like to donate via Cash App, $ DC Radical One. And and you can reach me via email at DC.radical underscore one at protonmail.com. And lastly, if you would like to donate via Zelle, which I guess I'll put that up later, you can drop that in the Zelle at the same email address, dc.radical underscore one at protonmail.com. So, I mean, the sister dropped some jewels on us with that. Um, what else did I want to add to this? I think No, I think I'm done with this. I think I'm done with this. If not, if anything else comes up, I'll come back to it. What about love and the black world? Sister Najee, you want to read this?
Sure. Marriage rates on the African continent are highest in the areas that are less urbanized and less westernized. The closer the people are to their original culture, the more intact the families are. The country will be the lowest marriage rates in southern. I'm sorry. The country will. Hold up. The country
It's
will.
supposed to be with. My apologies. It's supposed to be with. Yeah.
Keep
Hey,
reading
where
it.
the editor at, man? Come on, Ed. What are you doing right now?
The country with the lowest marriage rates in Southern Africa is, not surprisingly, South Africa. Of course, it's Little America. This is not surprising due to the influence of Europeans in the country. Feminism is rampant and misogyny is pervasive as well. I will also, add If we're talking about South Africa, rape is a tremendous issue. So let's keep it well rounded.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, no. I was gonna get to that, but no. Go ahead
Okay,
into it.
yeah.
Sir.
Well,
Let me get out
no,
your way. Go
just
ahead.
I had to talk about South Africa, but I'll keep it moving. Marriage rates in the Caribbean are beginning to mirror those of the rest of the Western world. Divorce has been on the rise, and out of wedlock births are also on the rise. There also is an epidemic of paternity fraud in places like Jamaica and Nigeria. So, all around the African world, we are looking kind of down bad depending on how urbanized slash westernized slash industrialized our societies are. If you go into the rural areas, you start to see real love. You start to see that slow kind of love that just goes with the natural order of things. You start going into the city, going into these places that are trying to mirror the technological age and all of the Western nonsense. You start to see this separation because in order, I feel like in order, the more of Western civilization that you accept, you have to divorce from spirit. So the more that you accept and the more that you put yourself into these, this imperial Europeanized societies, you have to divorce yourself from spirit. So the idea of love is no longer going to be a spiritual thing because you've already divorced yourself from spirit. And so now love is just going to be, what they market it as, which is you get your dating app and you swipe the direction you want, and then you go meet up with somebody, you have your one night stand, you keep it pushing, and maybe get a free meal out of it, or spend money, and as a man maybe you get what you want out of it. But for the most part, the spiritual aspect of love is gone.
Yeah, man. I mean, what is goodness? And the sister dropping some gems out here. You took a lot of the meat off the bone on that one. You, I would have to be like a ravenous wolf, and all I get to do is chew the bone up and get the marrow out the bone. Because you took all the meat off of that one. You really broke down how in the West love has become transactional and despiritualized. The despiritualization of love is should not be um a surprise, but it is still disappointing to see. And man, just going in, when you start going into the spiritual aspects of it, it's interesting because I have that Baba Baruti clip that I wanted to play, that I had played earlier. And so since you kind of segued into it without even knowing the clip was up, I'm gonna just go into that, and then I'll come back and we'll deal with these slides here. So uh y'all know y'all know how it goes. Let me run this clip.
What does it take for someone, an individual who is faced with absolute destruction, who's faced with total annihilation as an individual, to confront insanity? What does it take for two such individuals to come together to form one unit where they both individually are assaulted and as a couple or complementary pair will be assaulted even more, to decide to come together to confront insanity? What does it take for these two individuals, knowing what's out there, knowing what awaits anything that they produce, to procreate, to bring a child into this insanity? What does that take? I would argue that it takes a warrior spirit.
I would argue that it would take these individuals clearly understanding that they are their ancestors and a strong desire to be African. I was brought up to believe that a man is someone who can stand. Whether you got 40,000 people behind you or zero, and that 40,000 people is in front of you. I was raised to believe that a man is supposed to stand on his own 2 feet. No matter what anybody says or does, if he knows that he is correct. I believe the same thing applies to women. And I think our history bears that out. So tonight, this evening, I want to talk about a number of things having to do with that couple who has come together, or men and women who are thinking about forming a couple, and what they will have to deal with. And part of this discussion will focus on differences between complementarity between Europeans and Africans. And I use this word complementarity very necessarily. We operate as Africans under a collection of principles that were given to us by the goddess Ma'at. Ma'at was the goddess of truth, justice, order, balance, righteousness, reciprocity, and a whole collection of other things in the pantheon of of African gods and goddesses. Complementarity is the process whereby 2 individuals, because we're talking about couples here, 2 individuals, a male and a female, come together, understanding that neither one is perfect, that each one is lacking. They find that individual who has what they don't have. If I'm on the front line and I have bullets, then I need somebody who's got a gun. So you look for that individual who has what you need, not to make you whole because you're whole just because you are you, but you look for somebody who can help you to fight this war better, who can help you to stand on the front lines taller. That's what complementarity is all about. The African universe is about order, balance. It's about bringing things together in a procreative fashion. In this society, we're so used to saying opposites attract. European mentality, competition, at war, intimacy as a power battle, let's say, relationships as a fight. This is expected. When you go into a relationship with someone and you expect to battle. Africans didn't say opposites attract. And maybe I'm putting words into their mouth because I have no record of this, but I'm sure if they didn't say it, they shouldn't have thought complements attract.
That was our wise Baba Juan Lehman with Rudy, breaking down the science and necessity of complementarity. Sister Najee, you had anything that you would like to that you took or gleaned from that clip?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to listen in because, like I said, I had other things going on in the background. But I will be going back to listen to it once the show is over.
Okay, no problem, sister. You told me you would be multitasking, so that's fine. Um, but yeah, Baba Rudy really was breaking down for those of us who would be African the necessity of complementarity, which I'm aware of and have been aware of. It's funny, I even had a sister say it to me one time, and I'm looking at her. I was looking at her. I was like, "Okay, why don't you apply for the position?" But she found other options. But I'm just saying, you know, Elijah Muhammad a long time ago said that a man without a wife is like a one-legged man. In other words, literally, you are handicapped if you don't have a black woman. And I can attest to that in the fact that And I think subconsciously, sometimes as a man, what you do is you surround yourself with women who have various skills, abilities, personality traits. And it's funny because Kevin Samuels said this about women, that women do this, but men do this too. Not every man, because not every man is skilled enough or popular enough or whatever the case may be. But you can find yourself in a situation at times where, and this, I'm not saying that you're dealing with all these women, but I'm saying you um, surround yourself or have multiple women in your life who give you different aspects of femininity to, um, I guess, really hold you over until you find the right woman. So you may find a woman that fulfills you intellectually, a woman that fulfills you spiritually, a woman who fulfills you physically, and any other aspect. I remember this was years ago. I was working this job, and it was a sister there who was already there, and she usually like to just bring me food. Right? I don't know. I was in shape at that time. I had lost weight. I'm in shape. But I was in good shape, cut up shape. And she was feeding me like I was skinny or something. You know what I mean? Like just randomly bringing me food down and like, hey, I made some so and so you want. Would you like to try it? And so I'm just using that as an example of some of the ways that as a man when you and maybe I ain't even think about maybe that sister was auditioning at the time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that as a man, sometimes just like we talk about women and they have uh like women have like a guy who fixes things, right? Like literally he comes to the house and he fixes you got a door handle that's loose, you got your stove don't work, this don't work, you need this painted, you need your shingles on your roof falling off, or your gutters cleaned, or you know what I'm saying. There's sisters that literally they have a guy that just does that stuff, or they got a car guy, you know what I'm saying, or they have an internal plumbing guy, if you understand what I'm saying, as well. And that's all he does. He recognizes that that's the only skill he got, but he's very skilled. You know what I'm saying? And then some sisters they have what's crazy. This is one of the craziest things to me. Some sisters have dudes who look good, right? And they're well groomed. They may have, they have some money or whatever. And this is their person that they like to be on his arm and be seen with publicly. But for personality or other reasons, energy reasons, whatever, they don't actually like the dude to be exclusive with. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's like a trophy dude. You know what I'm saying? So, a trophy wife, trophy dude. You know what I'm saying? So, we have these types of situations, for lack of a better word, in the community, and we don't we see it, but we don't even publicly like to talk about it. So you have things that people are what I think Kevin Samuels called it like Frankenstein, something he said. It was funny when he said it. But he was saying that like women do it, and they do, but men do it too. Those who are capable. It's just like it's some men that can't get no woman, and some men that got multiple women that they dealing with physically. It's different situations that's going on. Sister Naja, you had anything to add to that before I go to the next slide? Okay. I guess she didn't. Yeah, the sister maybe. Oh, you there?
No, I'm here. You can go ahead to the next slide.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you heard me. Well, you know what? Hold on. Let me go back and look at this because you did drop some jewels, but I wanted to say South Africa is a vicious cycle because, to your point, the amount of homophilia amongst the men and the women, and the amount of the child sexual abuse in the country, and then the amount of just sexual violation of women in general, it it just fuels a rampant feminism that really looks justified because of the atrocities that some of the men are doing to the women. And I'm gonna just say this: if America continues to um, if America continues to become more lawless, I'm gonna say this for sisters: it would behoove you to get around a set of men who value you. That's all I'm gonna say. Because this divide that's been fueled when things become more lawless, people start taking what they want. And just like people were going buck wild during the pandemic over toilet paper, you know what I'm saying? Just imagine if things get more lawless or things look more dire. Other things will be taking place. Like we've all seen these movies, these end of the world movies, and they occasionally show how things go, but they don't really show how bad things can get. So I'm just saying that, for sisters that may be out here that are single or whatever, because things could be bad enough that just having it. To be honest, things could be bad enough that just having a man not be necessarily be sufficient. That man will have to, if he's wise, form a collection of men, a brotherhood of men to defend whatever territory they happen to be in.
Which is the
hopefully
order anyway. It should be. It should never just be the nuclear. It should always be, if you're finding a man, that man should have other men around him that are all valuable, that look at you as, not somebody that they trying to get with too, but somebody to protect. You're part of the community now. You're part of the village. And in the same way, there should be, you find a woman, there should be a lot of valuable women around her that are now going to look at you as the brother that they're going to look out for, whether it be for, opportunities that come about or just in general. We should all be, looking after each other. It shouldn't just be, I come with, how they say, like, you don't just marry the person that you want, you marry the whole family. It should be like that too. And it should be a valuable family to marry into. It would be blood or selected family or however.
Well, I don't know what inspires the sister today, but again, she's dropping more jewels and more wisdom. And all I can say to what she says, Ashe, you right? Indeed, as a previous slide we had up, and maybe I should just add that to the permanent slides. Life is war and the family is an army. So we're in the midst of that and have been for at least 4,000 years, as opposed to the 500 that we normally quote. I guess I'm finished with this. I would go into the paternity fraud and stuff, but we dealt with that previously. So I'm just going to move forward. What would be the benefits of international Black love? One thing that an international Black love movement would do is reconnect Black people around the world. We would, in essence, be repairing families on a global scale. It would also break down barriers to working together economically and politically. It was efforts from Black Americans that helped end apartheid in South Africa. It was a Jamaican, Marcus Garvey, who formed the largest Black movement in America and around the world. The enemies of Black people have worked tirelessly to divide Africa from her children in the diaspora. In warfare, the best strategy is to do the exact opposite of what our enemies want you to do. Our enemies have stated, though not publicly, but in communications between themselves, Memorandum 46, that dividing black people in America from black people in the continent is an objective. And I believe that as much as it was an objective 40, 50 years ago, it is still an objective to this very day. And yet many of our people fall victim to this objective of our enemies. Sister Najee, you have anything that you'd like to add to this?
I would love to see it become a marrying of, and we already do see it, a marrying of cultures. Like, for example, there was a wedding that took place within the last few weeks, and it was, I don't remember who was American, but it was an American and a Zambian um, African couple that they had their wedding. I don't know where they had their wedding, but they fused the cultures together, and the wedding was absolutely beautiful. And that it looks good, yes, but I would love to see it go a step further and it actually become um like a diplomacy thing, where it's like, now that because these two have married, we can say that the two cultures literally can, or the two countries, or however it may be, actually are working together now. I would love to see that happen, and it's completely possible. There's a couple that moved to Tanzania the same year that I went to Tanzania with President Magufuli, and they've been living there ever since. And the wife just recently became an ambassador for with the African Union, and so she now has the ability to, she's acting as ambassador for Tanzania as well as for America, and like to be able to move, physically move yourself to other places, but then also mentally, culturally, marry. It is something that is going to be a lot stronger than just, to just be able to say, oh yeah, my wife's from Trinidad. So, but it's like, nah, like, not only is my wife from Trinidad, but, when we go to Trinidad, we're loved, and the Trinidadian people see that, the husband's from Ghana. And so now the people of Trini feel like they have a connection with Ghana. And like, it really could be such a benefit. Now, brother, you got ripped off, adds in a very, very important question. Do we need to promulgate African American culture? I am not a person that feels that we are people of the African people of America don't have culture. I'm not somebody that's ever going to say
Sister,
that.
can I interject real quick? I can
Oh.
answer that real quick,
Mhm.
not to cut you off. Yeah, we need to promulgate African American culture. We need to leave N-word culture in the dustbin of history.
Right,
You
because
go
there
ahead.
is a difference. There really is a difference. There's a lot of beautiful things that come out of the culture of our people. Unfortunately, you kind of got to look way back when we were at our best to really get the full, in like a Chocolate City. No, I don't feel at all embarrassed to say that I'm from Chocolate City. Now, what's going on now today is a little bit different, but just in general, to be able to say that that's, my people come from, or to know that, the morality and the acceptance of cultures in Philly, and just, Harlem, and like, there's a lot of wonderful things that come out of African American culture. It is a thing, and it is something that we have to be serious about, because it's, we are being warred upon, like brother DC said, and part of the war is trying to make us give up our culture. And when I say give up our culture, I mean let other people use our culture to display it as what they want it to be, or what they want us to start doing, and we just following right along with them, because we don't, there's a lot of reasons that we just don't we don't feel that we have the power to be in charge of our culture. We feel like the only thing we really allowed to be an authority on is hip hop. But no, we can be an authority on I think, was it you, brother DC, that said that it was either you or somebody recently. I was hearing that, people were using the church, the black church, as a way to get people out of, like, during, people trying to emancipate themselves from enslavement. And they would basically, like, they could only move on Sunday, because that was the day that the white people, was up in their house. And so we would use the church as a way to get out. There's so many beautiful stories that come out of our struggle. And anybody of any African, world African culture, if you're not able to respect African American culture, then I wouldn't want to be with them, because that would mean that I don't respect myself and the culture that I come from. So, great question.
Yeah, let me add to that, sister. I think somebody had made an AI representation of that, and I think I sent that to you. So I didn't make it, but I think I did send that to you. But I'll just say this, and to add on to what you're saying about a person not respecting our culture. What this is what generally happens. People who don't have a knowledge of self, they go to the continent or they deal with a person who from the continent or the islands or wherever the case may be, and they don't have anything to bring culturally other than what is presented at this current time, which is not our culture, but is the small hat inside the mind of black people, or really on like his hand up our back like a puppet, and us spewing nonsense and degeneracy. What I have found in dealing with people from the continent is that, especially if a person is from the continent and they do not know our story, when you tell them our story, when you tell them about Malcolm X, when you tell them about Robert F. Williams, when you tell them about Nat Turner, when you tell them about the inventions of people like Granville T. Woods and people like that, and the things that we invented, the stoplight and just all this stuff, and improving on the electric light, all these things. When you tell them our story, then they respect it, because they are never told our story by our enemies, because they're told by our enemies that what our enemies think of us. And you know what I'm saying, like, we forget the second part that I'm about to say. How many of us have been told disrespectful, negative stories about the African continent and African people, right? Like, I remember watching Boys in the Hood, and Trey was saying, because his father had taught him, he like, yeah, we're from Africa, and the little boy like, I ain't no African booty scratcher. And then Trey said something to him, and then he's like, I ain't from Africa, I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. So this little boy, in ignorance, because of course he's a little boy, he does not know, he hasn't been anywhere, he wants to claim a block or a few blocks, a neighborhood, over the richest continent on planet Earth. And the sad part is that in that scene in that movie, that mentality is what a lot of our people think as adults, not as 8-9-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? But as 30 and 40-year-olds. And the fact of the matter is at this time we have a movement being promoted amongst our people with that same mentality, but you just add into the fact we was already here, we the original Indians, and so forth and so on. And when you can be the original Indians all you want, you can be whatever you want. I'm gonna tell you this much: all the European, the Asian, and the Arab see is somebody black that they want to kill, and the hat see somebody they want to exploit and kill. So they don't care. Our enemies don't care about none of that. They see you wearing your military uniform is your black skin, and your enemies want to skin you alive if they can, right? And take your woman and children and have their way with them. That's what they want. And I don't care what you try to claim you are, what you try to identify as, what you try to not identify as. No one cares. No one cares. They want to remove you from the planet and make money in the process. So none of that stuff is going to save you from what's happening right now. None of it. None of that stuff, none of them ideologies, the philosophies, they're going to repel any bullets from the COPs. You know what I'm saying? None of it. None of that stuff is going to stop you. It's going to stop anyone from, we got people out here stealing people's homes and all types of scams and shenanigans to keep black people from acquiring anything or having anything. None of those ideologies or philosophies or identities or this and that and more and this and that and blah blah blah. None of that stuff is going to stop the war on black people. You know what's going to stop the war on black people? Black men and even black women practicing ma'at, reciprocity. That's what's going to stop it. Us giving us the same energy that we get from our enemies, giving that same energy back. That's what's going to stop it. Anything else you're talking about is coward talk. But I digress. Sister Najee, you have anything to add to that?
I mean, how am I supposed to follow up when you talking about coward talk? That's, you know, there's not much else to say. It's really not.
All right. And as I said, I'm gonna read it again. The enemies of black people. Yes, if you're black, you have enemies, and most of them don't look like you. And some of them do. Yeah, I would like again. We do understand that the reason Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, and Patrice Lumumba aren't here is because of internal enemies. I do understand that, but even those internal enemies were paid by or used by external enemies. But the enemies of black people have worked tirelessly to divide Africa from her children in the diaspora. In warfare, the best strategy is to do the exact opposite of what our enemies want us to do. Your enemies want you to be divided so you can be destroyed. The best thing to do is to be the opposite of divided. Let's go to the next slide. What about individual benefits? Sister, you want to read this?
Sure. The simplest benefit is that there are approximately does that say 1? Is that a 1? It's kind of small for me.
Yes, that's a 1. Sorry about that.
Okay. 1.5 billion black African descendants on planet Earth. That is vastly more than the approximately 52 million black people in America. It is the equivalent of going from fishing in a stream to fishing in the Pacific Ocean. International travel broadens one's horizons and expands the mind. Children born from an international marriage will be exposed to multiple languages.
Thank you, editor, for editing that.
In different cultural expressions, making them more well-rounded. Those children could also qualify for dual citizenship. Other ethnicities in America have benefited greatly from being dual citizens. Absolutely, being a dual citizen, being able to go code switching between not just the code switching that we know when white people are around, but even the code switching that do you have different accents? Can you go to a store in a different country and get the correct price because you know how to speak the language and you have the right accent? Because it's not enough to speak the language. You also need to sound like you're not American, to be able to understand the different, or to understand how people see Americans. That's not something that you can really understand unless you travel, unless you go to different places and see like, oh, they think Americans are like this or like that. You have to be able to travel and experience things. And so, yes, I'm certainly advocating, if you have the ability to either go out and find love outside of the country, or you already have your love and your family, go with your family and travel, because you seriously do expand your mind when you leave this place. A lot of people have never fully left this place since slavery. Keep it a buck. There's a lot of people that have not left. There's a lot of people who don't even leave their block, let alone leave the country. So imagine all of what you'll learn, all of who you'll meet, all of the complexities that come with being able to understand that people in other countries are not what the news tell you they are. They're actually really beautifully kind people. The kindness that we no longer have, to be able to send your child down the street to the store so they can pick up sugar or whatever you need for the meal. We don't do that anymore, and we don't do that because we don't know who all live around where, and it's just not. It just flat out really is not safe, and that's taking away from your child's experience of them developing themselves. No child should be growing up in America, true, unless you own acreage, acres and acres, and you have a community network. It's just really not even fair. It is really not even fair. You're not getting the full experience of a human being. You should be able to send your child somewhere and everybody in the community know them and look out for them and call you up if something happened. Like, we don't have that anymore. And if you do and you're in America, count your blessings and count your days. Because the hats will not have harmony. They just won't. So you keep it on the low. If you have that kind of harmony in your household or your neighborhood, you need to really keep it on the low because the hats are coming for it. Seriously. But yes, children born from international marriages, they're going to be exposed to really the inner workings of what we're working towards. When we talk about a Bibi Fahodie, we're talking about World African Revolution, World African Republic. How are we going to be able to express that to our children if they don't know what World Africa is? They've never seen. Oh, you mean like the world? Yes, the entire world. World African Revolution, World African Republic. We need it. Miss War.
All right. Well, once again, Sister Najee decided to just devour all the meat off the bone and chewed up some of the bone on that one. I don't really think I don't have anything else to add. I don't. Good thing I wrote the slide, or else I wouldn't have any purpose. Let me just read what some of the comments that we missed. Brother, you got ripped off. Said, yo, at J2DC's point Super Ray 16K got a video with sisters talking about the best plantain that they got is from brothers who were not financially stable. Hey, I mean, when you try hey man, when desperate times call for desperate measures, and some of these dudes, all they do is practice those skills on different women. So you can't. I'm just be honest. When you practice those skills, man. Do I want to go here? Let me just say this. There's a lot of times where women underestimate men, not knowing, and it's like sisters don't be thinking. Sisters be thinking that a certain look will bring a certain skill set. Like sisters will overlook something as simple as, okay, let's say a woman is 30 and a man is 40. It doesn't even occur to her that this man could possibly have been engaging in adult activities for almost her entire life, right? So sisters be like, oh yeah, this dude, he getting older, he probably can't blah 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 blah. Don't do it. Don't set yourself up. Don't think that you just go, because I'm gonna tell you what's going on now with a lot of young women. Because I overheard two young sisters talking, and one of them was talking loud enough that I think she was talking that loud simply because I was standing there, and they were talking about older men, and yeah, these older men, this and that, and yeah, I'll put it on them, and I'll be able, what I'm saying, once I do X, Y, and Z, I get them to pay for this and that, and talking all that stuff, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? You can think walk up with one of these older men thinking that you're gonna have him twisted in knots, and you're gonna be out there banging on his door, asking him to open up the door and let you back in, and you're like, hey man, I did what I need, I got what I need, short. Hey, I'm telling y'all youngsters now, I'm telling y'all the game, I'm putting y'all on game. Don't, especially if he's still in shape. Don't you underestimate that man thinking that you gonna fleece him for his money like you the first woman he met. Don't do it to yourself. Hey, listen. Listen to your big brother. Listen to when I tell you, it's some dudes out here, they waiting. They waiting for you to try to run game on them so that they can run game on you. I'm just saying. I overheard that conversation this week. And so I thought I'd put that out there. Sister Najee, you got anything to add to that?
Hapana.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew the sister wouldn't want to speak on that type of degeneracy. I just wanted to make sure. Let me see.
Make sure I didn't have a lapse in judgment and then would want to speak on degeneracy. Is that what you said?
No, I'm just saying no, because I figured if you said something, you'd probably be like, "Brother, why have you even broached this subject?" That's what I was expecting you to say. To be honest.
No notes on the degeneracy. Moving on to the next slide.
I'm just saying we got to speak to all our people, not just our people that share our mentality. Because you never know who might come through, and some young sister might hear that and be like, "But I know what'll happen." Because young women, they just take it as a challenge. Oh, he don't know what he talking about. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just old. I don't know nothing. I'm just old and dumb. Anyway, hold on, my bad. Let's see. What about? Oh no, we did this, right? We did that. What are the downfalls of this idea? All right, sister. You want to take charge of this?
Sure. Beforehand, though, brother, you got ripped off. Said there's a reason they never made a movie for men like Stella got her groove back. Okay. What are the downfalls of this idea? Subcultural clashes are bound to occur in an international relationship. Many people from outside of America have been taught by our enemies to be wary of Black Americans. Meanwhile, there is a growing anti-African movement growing among Black Americans. These ideas could taint the minds of people looking to date internationally. And I want to expand on that. The anti-African movement is throughout the Americas. So it's not just the United States of America. The Black USA people is also throughout the Caribbean, that we have a lot of anti-African ideologies and movements that are pushed. So it's not just the US Black people that feel that way. Families from different areas may be opposed to this type of unit. It is hard to maintain a healthy relationship when your family not only doesn't support the relationship, but openly opposes it. That is factual. We were talking earlier about you're marrying the family, but if the family don't like you, it kind of looks like, what's the point of being in the marriage then? Why would I be married to somebody that doesn't like me and has a whole community of people behind them that doesn't like me? What would be the point of doing something like that? Issues like where to live, what to teach the children, as far as languages and religions, quick intimacy practices can complicate relationships. Why be in the relationship if you're not looking for a challenge? We're not raising no quitters. It's African. So what languages do you teach the children? All of them. If you speak 2 languages and your complement speaks 5 languages, the child should know all of the languages, and then add some more to that. Because why would we ever stop? Remember that as Americans, United States of Americans, we's all slow. Like literally, R word, RETARD, id. All of us. We didn't used to be like this. We used to use much more of our mind. We used to be able to go in between speaking multiple different languages, because if you travel the continent, you're going to come across people that speak different languages. We used to be able to communicate without really even needing to use our tongue. Okay, so the objective is not to stay the same. The objective is to get back right and then be better. So what to teach the children? Everything. Religion, I think it's the same thing. If mom is a Muslim and Baba is a Christian, why would we not explain that to the children, that I saw the best of Christianity in your mom. I forget who that. No, I said mom was Muslim. I saw the best of the, what is it, Islam? I saw the best of it in your mom. You know, that those teachings were able to make her a wonderful woman, and her character shine through because of those teachings. And so I would want you to learn that, but I also want you to learn, you know, where how I was able to develop myself to be a positive husband. Like, it's just everything. So that's like ticky tacky to me. To me. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, I mean, this version of Sister Najee is just, this is, I like this version right here, although she was allegedly multitasking, but she pretty much knocked that out the park.
It got postponed. It got postponed. So
Say
I'm
that again.
fully here. I said it got postponed, so I'm fully here.
All right. Um, I just want to point out that the reason I put subcultural is because all African people share a overarching culture, even though it appears that we don't because of our surface understanding of culture. The reason we pour out a little liquor is because of libation. Just as an example, this is a virtually universal black practice, right? Our reverence for family, that is expressed here in America through the family reunions, and it just various things that are universal to black people around the world. And so that's why I put subcultural. So just because you speak a different language, or you're Fulani or Zulu or Wolof, or like, you're American and Jamaican and so forth and so on, doesn't mean that we practice a different culture. We practice different aspects of the overall culture of African people. So that's why I put that there. So if anyone was confused about that. And let me see. Yeah, the family aspect is like, I mean, you covered that. Everything I concur with everything you said there. What I wanted to do, let me see. I had another Bamba Rudy clip, so I'm gonna play this Bamba Rudy clip real quick, and then we'll come back. So, give me a sec.
First and foremost responsibility with their children is to raise their children so that they will be of the mind to produce children who will be on the front line. Our whole goal in raising our daughter was to raise someone who's going to fit with someone else on the front line. That was the whole priority. Because we know this is going to take generation after generation after generation. And if it's not continued as an intergenerational process, then we've lost. So we talk about our children are the future. We're seeing our great-great-great-great-grandchildren, blah, blah, blah. Well, then that could just be a bunch of slaves. Unless we rear our children to be on the front line. Okay? And I keep saying our children because we're African people and the children are our priority. We come together to procreate. The universe is about procreation, and that's what we model ourselves after. The universe is about procreation. The universe is always producing, always changing, always about the business of bringing male, female energy together to produce something bigger and better. That's what the universe is about. Somebody show me scientifically where that's not the case. If this change does not continue to occur, the universe will die. The universe is going to die, right? But if this did not continue, it would. Everything in the universe that is alive, that lives, is about the business of procreation, about the business of producing, about the business of reproducing, about the business of change. And we, as a people, studied the universe for the model of humanity. We didn't just come up and be about the business of whatever insane stuff and say, well, we're going to change the universe to reflect us. We understood that that was greater. We did the deductive reasoning. African people are deductive people. We look at the greater. We look at the whole. We look at the macro. We look at from that, we determine what we're supposed to be about, because we know that that's smarter than us. It's been in operation infinitely longer than us, versus other people who want to look at the universe as a microcosm of them and change the universe to fit them, to fit their logic. That's not us. We look to the universe, and the universe we discovered is about procreation. It's about continuity. It's not about death. Death happens, but death can feed life. But that's not the heart of what we're about. Death is just an aside that comes along with it, or transition is an aside that comes along with it. That's not the heart of how we think. That's not the essence of it. Okay. So we have to define, and I wish that we just, if we could take nothing else from that, we have to understand that complementarity can only exist for warriors in a social context. Period. Can only exist in a social context. In a social context that is political. I shouldn't say politicized, because a social context is automatically political, but we'll put this up. Politicized social context. There's no such thing as a people. There's no such thing as a word that you say that's not political. There's no such thing as an act that you do that's not political. You were socialized within a particular political context. And all of the definitions and all of the words and all of the gestures, all of the ideas, all the ideals, all of those are political. And they follow the interests and the agenda of the mind that controls that reality. The mind that formed that reality, the mind that created that reality. This is not a reality that we created. So the politics of this reality do not reflect our interests. They reflect the opposite of our interest. So we have to understand that politics are everywhere. Politics is everything. I was going to grad school, they say, well, culture is everywhere, culture is everything, because they wanted to move you away from the fact that there's the politics behind that culture.
Wait, can you repeat that last part? Before you said they wanted to move us away from, culture was introduced to move us away from the social...
The idea, theoretically, the way people will present things. So I was a sociologist. Not a sociologist. In the classes, you were told that culture is everything. You weren't told that politics was behind the culture that's everything. Okay? And of course, within the Western context, where you can only analyze things at certain levels. So you analyze things at the level of individuals, at the level of groups, at the level of societies. There's nothing within Western social science that has anything to do with spirit. For us, you can't have science without spirit. Yeah, that's part. I mean, that's the heart of it. That's the root of it. That's the foundation. Okay. So that's one of the main reasons, because this right here, this is a spiritual act.
Sister, I don't know if you were able to hear that. Were you able to hear that?
Yes, I was.
You had anything you like to add, or anything that you gleaned from that?
The echo.
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying everything is political always echoes for me. And I know that Baba wasn't the first to say that. He wasn't the second or third, but he certainly made it true when we have that conversation about complementarity. And for this discussion, I think what I was trying to get at, as far as the slide that talked about the benefits, the political benefits of marrying with different cultures, different states, we need to we need to start writing out the end goal. Like, just in general, we need to be planning out better our success. Like, we kind of just going about it in a willy-nilly kind of way, just hoping and praying, I guess. We know that we're not organized, but we don't really see too many people trying to be organized either. And so when we talk about, all right, the family unit is the beginning, right? It's the beginning of the nation. Family is the army. Okay, well, then that means that we need to make our political family, we need to make our army work not just for our nuclear or our extended, we need to make it work intercontinent, like just for the whole continent. I think that was kind of the point that I was trying to make earlier, and Baba just really fleshed it out more so because it is political. It is a political thing. They say marriage is a business. Okay, well, we got all these political businesses that need to be feeding the community in specific ways, and we need to be writing out what those specific ways are, whether it be, okay, like I gave the example earlier of a Trini and a Ghanaian couple that now are able to not only go back and forth individually, but really create a little Ghana within Trini, create a little Tobago within Ghana. Like, we need to be able to actively push our family as the army. So, yes, wonderful points made by Marlene Muguruza.
Well, sister, I think you made some wonderful points as well. Again, let me say, I am your co-host, DC Radical One. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.radical1, on Twitter at DC Radical _ONE, on OTW2, which is the Black owned platform, at DC Radical One. If you find value in this conversation from myself, you can donate via Cash App, $DC Radical One. And if you're finding value in this conversation from Sister Najee, you can hit her up on Cash App at
NEFERNAJAI, $NEFERNAJAI.
all right. I was gonna play the Lost Tapes advertisement, but in lieu of that, I am going to say that on November 4th, I believe that is Tuesday, this Tuesday upcoming, I'm expecting a visit from Aoki Mafti, aka the Irritated Genie, and he has an announcement that he wants to make to the people. That will be November 4th, Tuesday at 4 p.m. I mean, excuse me, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So our standard time. So look for the thumbnail for that to be up tomorrow. And also look for, if you're on the Warren Horizon email list or the Straight Black Pride email list, look for that announcement to come sometime tomorrow as well. So like I said, the brother has an announcement to make, and he's going to come here on a special episode of The Center to get that done. So some of y'all have been wondering, and some people literally just come on the channel and say, man, when is 18 to come back? And then disappear. I hope you listen to this show, but you'll have a few days to be prepared for that. So I'm sure many of you are looking forward to that. Sister Najee, did you get any comment to that?
I mean, I'm excited. I think I know what he's coming to say, but I personally want to hear him say it because I myself am anxious, I guess, is the best word to use. And I hate to be putting those kinds of feelings on it, but truly, I look up to him as somebody that, and everybody within Straight Black Pride, it takes a certain level of courage to say that you're straight. in these times. So it's like,
That's
it's not funny, but for
that
real, like,
that's crazy that you said that, but that's how crazy the world is.
yeah, that's really where we at now. So to say it and then to stand by it and to have all of the proof and be willing to argue people down about it and travel the world and tell the world about it, that is a level of valor that I look up to, and I'm excited that the direction that the brother is going in is something that is going to really continue, as far as he really has been fighting on the ground with I say the US government in large. Even if it's local government, it's still the government, it's US. So he's been fighting the government and winning, in the sense that his voice is being heard and people are coming behind him. And so I am excited, but I have questions. I have a lot of questions, and they come from a place of, are you sure? Like, is this the route that we want to go about it, kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I just Sister Neff says she thinks she knows. I know some of y'all are close enough to know.
We on the
Just don't
list.
spill, just don't spill the beans, please. You know what I'm saying? But
Beans is spilled.
yeah,
We on the list. We got the, what I'm saying? If you're not on the email list for War on the Horizon, then you messing up. That's not on
she's
us.
like,
That's on
I
you.
don't even know what you're doing right now. Oh man, so yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know that, because we're getting close to the end. So this is the final thoughts. Like any relationship, a relationship between black men and women from different parts of the world will come with its ups and downs and pluses and minuses. With that being said, if properly nurtured, it can be a fulfilling, rewarding relationship. In the grand scheme of things, if black people are willing to mate with people who are our historical enemies, or who are the historical enemies of black people, then they should not be opposed to dating and marrying a black person from a different country or continent. You know what? I'm going to read that one more again, as they like to say. Like any relationship, a relationship between black men and women from different parts of the world will come with its ups and downs and pluses and minuses. With that being said, if properly nurtured, it can be a fulfilling, rewarding relationship. In the grand scheme of things, if black people are willing to mate with people who are the historical enemies of black people, then they should not be opposed to dating and marrying a black person from a different country or continent. The only thing that would make someone summarily dismiss the idea is the latent self-hatred that nearly all black people have to fight against on a daily basis. I find it interesting that people will talk about expanding their options outside their race, but overlook the opportunity to expand their options within the race. Sister Naja, you have anything to add to that?
Um, I would say that there's a lot of people that talk down on the men that go around looking for women in other countries. But all in all, if they are looking for black women, then I don't see why we just finding and nitpicking, reasons to be mad at ourselves, because we always pulling each other down, no matter what category of life we in. We finding a reason to pull somebody down, and so if somebody decides that they have the ability to go to another country and they find someone, either they're looking for someone or they find someone or whatever, however it happens, and it goes well, we should support them. We shouldn't tear them down and say, "Oh, you couldn't find a woman in America." Well, no, I didn't. Found her somewhere else, and that's okay. You know, because I would much rather black women find black men in other countries that can do for them, instead of the black women that will go to the wealthy old white man, wealthy old wrinkly white man.
I'll
We
say,
gotta
because
stop doing
um, that makes me want to throw up when I see it. It's absolutely disgusting. degenerate and filthy. And look, this sugar baby thing that's going on that people don't want to talk about, and this transactional, this attempt to escape our blackness, as far as black men through the womb of the European female, and as far as black women on the phallus of the European male, it's not going to work. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. As Dr. Collins said, we see you. You know what I'm saying? You can't you can't hide. You can't hide over there. We see you. And so I think that it is much more, it's much wiser, more palatable, much more positive, much more productive. That you get, if you find what you want in Ghana or what you need in Ghana, more power to you. You know what I'm saying? Or like Baba Cambone's son, Obadele. His wife is Ghanaian, right? Am I right, sister?
I'm not sure. I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, I'm pretty sure his wife is from. I know I'm almost 100% sure she's from the continent, but I think she's from Ghana. But yeah, just as an example. And I know that on the other sister, she was like, well, can't find what I need here, I'm out. And I was like, okay. But yeah, because this is, people always talk about expanding their options. I really want to reiterate that part. I hear women talking to other women talk about expanding their options, but they always talk about expanding their options to some almost got the show deleted. Non-black man. Let's just put it like that. And I'm sick of it, to be honest. So I'm putting, just in case y'all didn't think about this option, I'm putting this option on the table. Because even when I see women trying to be quote unquote passport girls, they all in Italy and France and all these places, and then they sit around and make a TikTok video complaining about the racism there. Of course there's racism there. You in the land of the cave. What did you expect to find there? Other than cave people. You know what I'm saying? Like, doing cave things. Like, I just don't, this love of enemies, man, it's wild to me. Like, it's 1.5 billion black people on the planet. Go to the outback in Australia and find you Aboriginal, man, something, anything. You know what I'm saying? His brothers on the island of Papua New Guinea. You know what I'm saying? You got black people over there chilling, and they tell you they black. They're like, no, we black, bro. We African. We just took a boat and kept on going and hit this island and stayed. Like, don't be confused. So yeah, this we gotta start loving our enemies, man. Start loving ourselves, whether nationally and internationally. So I believe that is the last slide. Oh no, this is a conclusion. The only way that black people are going to survive the ongoing genocide or assault against black people globally is to internationalize the struggle for liberation. Our enemies have implemented a divide and conquer strategy for centuries, and thus the obvious solution is a unification strategy. The best unification strategy that I can think of is to not only say we are one family across the globe, but to implement this policy in a strategic manner in order to increase our connection as a people. Any prominent figure who is opposed to this, and especially one who is married to a non-black person, meaning a black person that is not fully black mother and black father, is simply an agent of Zionist forces, and their opinions should be disregarded. In the fight for African survival, internal enemies must be thrown into the dustbin of history. Sister Najee, would you have anything to add as we head towards closing?
I guess to go back on the point of black women looking for Urugu, mostly because of the financial benefit that they bring. If you find yourself somebody in a different country that lives, what do they call a middle class type of lifestyle? They're not the richest person in the country, but they living well. They living how you living in America. I think it would be good for black women to travel and understand that you really don't need all the things that you think you need. And you would actually be a lot happier if you didn't try to, do the keeping up with the Joneses thing. Like if you meet somebody that's able to, like, I hate to use the word humble, but like really get you to a level of humility, like it's perfectly fine, and you actually might be a lot happier if you don't have all of these clothes or all of these material things, or if you're able to really enjoy just the nature around you. Finding a man that can help you reconnect with nature is the kinds of things that Black women need to be prioritizing, because we're so far.
It,
We talked
can I
about.
interject, sister?
Go ahead.
Wait, let me tell you something. Leave that baggage at home, as
Yeah,
Erica Badu crazy self said, bag lady. Leave it at home. Leave
yeah.
them ridiculous eyelashes in America. Please. Leave them
Also,
here. Leave,
you can
leave that
find the
blue.
eyelashes there. You just, and this is the next another point. A lot of the things that you so press, like the wigs, the nails, the this, the that, you can do all of that over there too. And I promise you, it's going to be so much cheaper. The Chinese people trying to make their buck over here. That's why they in our communities doing the way that they do. You can find all of those things
I'm trying to
there.
get her. I'm trying to get her
No,
to leave
I'm
it
just
here,
we
and the
middle
sister's
ground,
like, "Nah,
middle
you can
ground.
save money if
Because
you're gonna
look,
take it."
look, is a time and a place. If you know dressing up for date night or it's our wedding or something, nobody's gonna be mad at you for wearing makeup for that. There's a time and a place. The keeping up with the Joneses thing is on the financial tip. To say that you don't need to be buying that stuff, and if you do, it'll be a lot cheaper. It'll be a lot cheaper if you find it in whatever other country. Talking generally, because I really don't know, but for the most part, stuff be a lot cheaper in other countries, for the most part. And there's so many different options, and it's just we could go on and on about it, but yes, um, we have to really prioritize the fact that we're at war. Black women, I'm talking to you specifically. We are literally at war, and they're using us. They're using Black women against Black men. And this is happening not just in America. This is happening, like we were talking about, all throughout the Caribbean. It's happening in Africa even. It's happening, on both directions. We're being used against each other. That's why we have the gender war.
Oh, sister, you were finished.
Pretty much. I had already gone off. Just tangenting at that point.
Oh, okay. Now you can tangent. I was letting you do your thing. I was had kind of laid back, and then you start talking. I'm like, oh, can't have dead air. Dead
Yeah.
air is the enemy of the algorithm. So I will just say this. Yeah, I thought this was an important discussion to have. I had talked to Brother Genie today while I was preparing it, and he thought it was an important discussion to have. And you know, the goal in 2026 is to begin to implement um strategies, not the word. I guess strategies might be the word I could use, to begin to implement strategies to facilitate the types of things that we're discussing tonight and things that we have discussed. So we will move from simply vocalizing these ideas to implementing them in various ways. So I'll say just be on the lookout for that in 2026. Um, and we'll be doing some things that SBL, the Straight Black Pride, has done in the past, like pre-pandemic, and then we'll be doing other things that we have not done, but I personally feel would be beneficial, at least, and to some degree necessary. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Sister Najee, you want to give them your information before we close out?
Sure. Please check out my website, realkkkkk.com, where I am building the scientific solution to sovereignty. You can also check me out on Instagram, where I make things, and on Rumble, where I make more important things. It never Najee, not for real, Najee, NFRNAJ. And Cash App is the expanded version of Nefer Najee, NEFERNAJAI. I also have another website called Muntu Meadows, which was on the previous episode, MUNTU Meadows, MEADOWS.com. Really take your time and look through it, because I took my time to create it and, gather the information necessary to describe the services that I provide. And that's all.
All right, and I don't know why Sister Najee didn't just put that put the ad in the what's the name, so I could just go to it because I
I
totally
sent it to
forgot.
you, so
I know,
how was
but
I
you
supposed
you
to?
on this side, this app, you can add it in personally, right? Or am I wrong?
We'll do it another
Um,
time.
okay, yeah. If I'm wrong, then that my apologies. So again, I'm your host DC Radical One. You can follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1, on Twitter at DC Radical underscore ONE, on Threads at DC.Radical1, on OTW2 at DC Radical One. You can donate via Cash App, $ DC Radical One. And you can email me at DC.Radical underscore one at protonmail.com. Don't forget, you can purchase the lost tapes of Brother Irritated Genie because he's moving to a different phase of his life. And I don't know if he will be doing any more lectures in America again. So you might want to get those because they are a historic keepsake. This is Najee. You had something there? That
Just the sigh.
okay. So yeah, brothers and sisters. Again, you can email me at dc.radical underscore one at protonmail.com to get one of the lost tape set. It's a tape of 6 total videos, lectures, appearances, speaking engagements from Brother Irritated Genie for $100 or $25 a piece if you only want one. Payable via Cash App or Zelle. And also on Tuesday, November 4th, Brother Genie will be a guest of the center here on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Look out for that thumbnail to be up in the algorithm tomorrow. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your support financially. And again, I'm your brother, DC Radical One. With that, I say a baby Fodier and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical, the numeral 1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA.